Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're going to continue with our discussion on Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Rupa and Sanatana. So for the past 2 days, we've been discussing instructions to Rupa Goswami, and today also we'll discuss Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Rupa Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at the young age of 24. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing the names of Gopi, 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 Gopi. There was a Sanskrit scholar who heard him chant that. What is this Gopi, 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 Gopi? So Lord Chaitanya chased that Sanskrit Pandit and eventually went into a crowd of 1,000 Sanskrit Pandits. And then all these Pandits came with a stick to fight with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, at that time he was known as Nimai Pandit. So Nimai began to reflect on his mission, which was to save conditioned souls. So he decided to take sannyas. Because in India, a sannyasi is automatically respected. Even these bogus sannyasis, they get respected. So he took sannyas. But his mother wanted him to stay in Jagannath Puri so that she could get regular news about her son. So, as a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya started traveling. He came to Jagannath Puri. All of you know Jagannath Puri? So he came to Jagannath Puri to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya was playing the role of a devotee and he appeared in the mood of Radharani. When he came to Jagannath Puri, he met a very prominent devotee called Vasudeva Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. His full name was Vasudeva Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was almost 80 years of age, almost equal to being Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grandfather. He had started a Sanskrit school in Navadvip, but then he was thrown out of Navadvip by Nawab Hussain Shah, Bahman ruler. So he left Navadvip and came to Jagannath Puri. So when he came to Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya went straight to Lord Jagannath's temple. He saw Lord Jagannath's brother Balaram and he couldn't even pronounce the word Jagannath. He said, Jaga, Jaga, Jaga. And he fainted. He became unconscious. He was in so much ecstasy that he couldn't even pronounce Jagannath. He just said Jaga, 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 and he became unconscious. So all the temple officials, they got very worried when they saw this handsome man lying unconscious in the temple. So they called Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya felt his pulse, his heart, his different parts of his body, and he saw, oh, this man is dead. But then he put some cotton on his nose and he saw the cotton was moving. The Bhattacharya knew that many people make a show of spiritual ecstasy by artificially fainting. But when he saw the cotton swab moving, he could understand, yes, this man is in real ecstasy of love of God. He tried to wake up Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya would not get up. And then came Nityananda looking for Lord Chaitanya. Nityananda came to the temple of Jagannath and said, hey, did you see a handsome man chanting and dancing? The gatekeeper said, yes, one man had come, but he was unconscious. So he had been taken to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So they at once knew this must be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they came running to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And Nityananda Prabhu knew how to bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to consciousness. What did he do? They did Harinam Kirtan. And as soon as they did Kirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to consciousness. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had a brother-in-law called Gopinathacharya. He knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none else but the incarnation of God that was predicted for Kali Yuga. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would say, "You're crazy. This man is not God. He's a handsome man and looks pious, but not God." Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, "He's like my grandson." So he got attached to him. So he said, "I want you to listen to the Vedanta. Because you're a young sannyasi, you should be educated about the goal of life." So for 7 days and nights, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the Vedanta's explanation from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't say one word for 7 days. Can you devotees live with someone for 7 days without saying a word? We are so impatient, we don't even let the other person finish his talk and we are ready to cut in. Lord Chaitanya didn't say one word for 7 days and night. So on the 8th day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "Young man, are you understanding what I'm speaking? You haven't said one word about my explanation or asked me any questions?" Then Lord Chaitanya said, "Yes, I'm a fool, but if you want me to explain, I will explain." He said that the Vedanta is as clear as the sun, and you have covered it with a cloud of speculation. You have hidden the real meaning of the Vedanta with your speculation and interpretation and word jugglery. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "Okay, then you explain to me the meaning of Vedanta." Then he gave the explanation. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very impressed by Lord Chaitanya's simple explanation. He said, "There's nothing wonderful in my explanation. The Vedanta preaches surrender to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Then Lord Chaitanya explained a key verse from the Bhagavatam, which is known as the Atma Rama verse. First he said, "You explain, Sarvabhauma." So Sarvabhauma explained the Atma Rama verse in 9 different ways. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained it. He explained it in 64 different ways without even touching any of the 9 ways that Sarvabhauma had explained. Sarvabhauma was so impressed. He said none else but God could have done this. So he fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and surrendered. And then what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He showed his Sadbhuj form. Sadbhuj is the 6-handed form of the Lord. 2 arms that reveal the flute, the playing of the flute by Krishna. 2 arms that carry the bow and arrow of Lord Ramachandra. And 2 arms that carry the water pot and the danda of sannyas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Finally, he revealed his 2-handed form of Lord Krishna. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so lucky that he saw the form of Krishna that within minutes he composed 108 verses glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of God. So this was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. This was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. There is another story about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his son-in-law and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we'll keep that for tomorrow. This was a little long story, but it's one of the most important stories of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the 108 verses that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composed in glorifying Lord Chaitanya are so sweet. So we'll go on to Lord Chaitanya's instructions to to Rupa Goswami. We'll tell you one small pastime of Rupa Goswami quickly. Rupa Goswami had gone to Vrindavan, where he met a devotee called Subudhi Roy. Subudhi Roy at one time was a very big landlord in Bengal. And as fortune would have it, the president, the Nawab Hussain Shah, was a servant in his house. So one day, Nawab Subudhi Roy had hit Nawab Hussain Shah, who was a servant, with a cane, and it left a mark on his body, on his back. So one day, the Nawab Hussain Shah's wife saw that mark and said, "Hey, who put that mark on your back?" So the Nawab said, "When I was young and poor, I was a servant in the house of Subudhi Roy. And one day, For a mistake I committed, he caned me on my back. So the wife said, now you are the king. Kill this man. How dare he hit you when you were young? Nawab Hussain Shah said, I can't kill him. He took care of me like a child when I was young. How can I kill him? Please, don't tell me to do that. Okay, I'll make him an outcast from Hinduism. Those days the society was very conservative. From his water pot, he took some water and sprinkled it on Subhuti Roy's head. So at once Subhuti Roy became a Muslim. So he went to Varanasi. He asked the Mayavadi snails, what should I do? I've become an outcast, I've become a Muslim now. They said, drink burning, boiling hot ghee and commit suicide. So in the meantime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in Varanasi. So Subhuti Roy asked him, what should I do? He said, the Mayavadis are saying I should commit suicide. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't commit suicide. Go to Vrindavan and roll on the ground and chant Hare Krishna. And that will eradicate all sins. So Rupa Goswami met Subhuti Roy in Vrindavan. And then Subhuti Roy took him to all the 12 forests of Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained yesterday to Rupa how the tree of seed of devotional service, when it gets watered, it grows taller and taller, crosses the Braja river and takes shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna and Loka Vrindavan. You remember that? But there's one danger which can cause the tree not to grow. And what is that danger? Vaishnava Aparadha. So we'll read one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita to you. Yadi Vaishnava Aparadha Uthe Hati Mata Upadeva Chinde Tara Sukhi Apata. So please hear the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada Ki. Yeah. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami that the seed of devotional service is guaranteed to grow taller and taller if you water the seed to the process of Shravana and Kirtana. Shravana and Kirtanam is not only chanting and hearing the glories of, not only chanting and hearing the Hare Krishna mantra, but it also includes hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, the recitation of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Devotee is anxious to engage in Krishna Katha and avoid Prajalpa. Now one impediment on the devotional path is if you commit offenses. And the example cited is a mad elephant that destroys a beautiful garden or devotional service.
И это сравнивается с бешеным слоном. Эти оскорбления сравниваются с бешеным слоном, который растаптывает прекрасный сад преданного служения.
You may have a beautiful garden, but if you let a mad elephant come in, everything's going to be uprooted. You may have a very beautiful sitting room, but you let the kids play over there, it will all get ruined. Similarly, by committing Vaishnava Aparadha, a spiritual life gets ruined. There are many types of Vaishnava Aparadha. Prabhupada in the purport talks about offending the spiritual master. The spiritual master is a representative of all the predecessor acharyas. And one should always think oneself as a servant of the servant. In mature life, we love to be proud and pride ourselves as the best in every area. But in spiritual life, it is best if we take a humble position and try to serve the Vaishnavas and take the dust from their feet. Prithu Maharaj was an incarnation of Godhead. He was a Shakta Vaishnava. Prithu Maharaj said, I want the dust for the feet of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. The dust from their feet will cleanse my sinful reactions and create in me all desirable transcendental qualities. So, Vaishnava Aparadha, as we said, is of various types. Basically, it's motivated by envy. One aspect of Vaishnava Aparadha is disobeying the instructions of the spiritual master. Another aspect of Vaishnava Aparadha is they're being disrespectful to other Vaishnavas. In the 10 offenses that we chant every morning in our temples, the first offense is Vaishnava Aparadha, blaspheming those who have dedicated their lives for propagating the mission of the Lord. Do all of you know the 10 offenses? Can I take a test? Everyone's quiet, they don't want to test. Okay, so the first is the Aparadha and Vaishnavas. So Vaishnava Aparadha should be avoided. Ultimately, Vaishnava Aparadha uproots your own devotional creeper. In our scriptures, there are some examples to illustrate this point. One point we want to make before we get to the stories is, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita there is a statement that we may go on chanting for birth after birth, but we do go on committing offenses, then our spiritual creeper will be, then we will not develop love of God. Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtana tabutana paya Krishna pade prema dhana. You may chant birth after birth, but unless you avoid the offenses, you will not get Krishna prema. So Vaishnava Aparadha should be avoided. Yesterday we gave you the story of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtan for 1 year in the house of Srivasacharya. So there was one Brahmin who was very envious that Srivasacharya is getting so much mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he wanted to defame him. Everyone was saying, see the fortune of Srivas Thakur. Every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming with his associates and doing kirtan in his courtyard. So this Brahmin was envious. What did he do? He kept the paraphernalia for worshipping goddess Durga in front of his door. So in the morning, when Srivas Thakur opened his door, there he saw beer bottle, liquor bottle, and all the paraphernalia for worshipping goddess Durga. So he said, neighbors, come here. I will reveal something to you. I am a devotee of Durga. Here's the proof. I was never a devotee of Krishna. I was just making a show. The neighbors said, no, you are a devotee of Krishna. This is the work of some crook. Some envious person has played a trick upon you. So they cleaned everything with cow dung and urine. This Brahmin later on got affected with a very severe disease. Very serious disease. Once he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was going to the Ganga for his bath. He begged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his forgiveness. He refused to forgive him. He went on suffering. Ultimately, he again went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu years later. He said, I've suffered immensely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I can't forgive you, but if Srivas Thakur wants, he can. So then he went back to Srivas Thakur, and then he forgave him. He embraced him and his disease was gone. So this is one story of how the reaction for Vaishnava Aparadha is very severe. In the Bhagavatam you read about how Durvasa Muni was envious of Amrish Maharaja's exalted position. Durvasa was invited for prasad. Durvasa said, okay, let me take a bath. Sannyasis take 3 baths a day. But when he went for his bath, he fell in trance. So Amrish Maharaj, the time to break his fast was fast approaching. He didn't know what to do. He didn't want to eat without his gosti. But the ghost, so he consulted the brahmanas. Okay, you can drink water. Drinking water is considered breaking fast and not breaking fast. So he drank water. Durvasa was a mystic yogi. He knew at once that Amrish has broken his fast. He said, this king had the audacity to invite me for prasad and eat without waiting for me. I'll teach him a lesson. So as soon as he confronted Amrish, he produced a demon from his sika. Can you, brahmacharis and grihasthas with sikas, produce a demon from your sika? Mojna? Yeah. So, but Amrish Maharaj was unmoved. Save mana Krishna padala vindayo. His mind was fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. And what happened? The Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord was released. Chakra is a weapon, wheel, and Sudarshan means auspicious. So soon, then the Sudarshan Chakra started chasing. It started chasing Durvasa Muni. Ultimately, Durvasa was able to reach the Lord. He begged forgiveness. But the Lord said, I can't forgive you. My devotees are so dear. They reside in my heart, and I reside in their heart. So ultimately Durvasa came to Amrish. And what did Amrish do? I'll teach you a lesson now. Is that what he said? He gladly forgave her. And then the two had prasad together. So Vaishnavas are very forgiving. So you devotees in your dealings with each other should be very forgiving. We don't believe in tit for tat, an eye for an eye. Yudhishthira Maharaj was so kind that after the battle of Kurukshetra, he offered a very magnanimous palace to live to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra tried his best to kill the Pandavas, but in the battle of Kurukshetra, all his sons, grandsons, everyone died. Only Gandhari and he were left. So after the battle, he could have easily said, "Now Dhritarashtra, you are arrested." After the battle, he could have easily said, "Dhritarashtra, now you are under arrest." Is that what he said? No. He said, "My dear uncle, I'm very sorry that all your sons and grandsons have died. Please live in this palace." So that's the forgiving nature of a devotee. Once we had gone to a high school engagement with Srila Prabhupada. This was in Canada, in a Christian school. So after the lecture, as usual, Prabhupada would ask questions. So one Indian gentleman severely insulted Prabhupada in the audience. So all devotees were so angry, but Prabhupada was cool. Then before leaving Montreal, Prabhupada once told me, "Okay, please call that gentleman." I said, "Prabhupada, why do you want to see him?" Prabhupada said, "Call him." He said, "I must have done something to him in my previous life for which he took revenge." And he blessed him before leaving. So the devotee is very fruitful. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, avoid Vaishnava aprad. Then he said, "Tate mai yatna kari kare avarana aprada hastira yachina haya udgama." The gardener must defend himself by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not come in. In other words, Lord Chaitanya told Rupa Goswami, if you want to avoid this mad elephant offense, keep yourself in the association of devotees. When the Bhakti Lata Bij is growing, you must fence it by surrounding yourself with devotees. If you surround yourself with good devotees, then you will not let the mad elephant offense destroy your Bhakti Lata Bij. Why?
Почему?
If you are in the association of good devotees and advanced devotees, then if you are committing a mistake, they'll correct you. In other words, a real Vaishnava, he wants to protect committing Vaishnava prad. A real Vaishnava, when he sees a fault or a weakness in someone, he points it out. Normally we all love flattery. If someone says, "Vamochan kharasho priyadane," and someone says, "Prabhu, this is some defect in your chanting," then you get angry with him. "Why are you pointing out my defect?" As if your chanting is perfect. So we don't like being corrected. Bhakti Siddhantaji used to say, beware of flatterers. If someone's coming to flatter you, then you should get scared. So we have the opportunity of associating with those who are more advanced, equally advanced, and less advanced. If we choose the association with those who are more advanced, then we'll make good spiritual advancement. Narada Muni in his previous life was serving in the house of a maid. Narada Muni in his previous life had the fortune of associating with advanced sages. He would eat the remnants of foodstuff that they would leave and listen to their discourses for only 4 months a year in the rainy season. And he developed such great attachment to the Lord as a result of this association. The hunter, as reflected in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, got purified by Narada Muni's association. So, to protect yourself from the mad elephant offense, keep yourself in the association of devotees, especially good devotees. And if you do that, then there's a very good chance your mad elephant offense will not uproot your spiritual creeper. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.